Welcome to the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Insightful and witty commentary, probing interviews, and detours from the beaten path.
Welcome to Art and Lifestyles Wednesday on the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. It's brought to you by the Exit Room of Lee Summit. Each and every Wednesday and each and every other Wednesday, we get the pleasure of sitting down with Tim Finn and talking music. I love all the things I get to do at DannyClinkscale.com, but none rises above sitting around and talking music with somebody who knows a whole lot about it. We get to hear his reviews of shows he sees and previews of some shows that he thinks you'd like to see, and that's always a lot of fun. And this time we kind of go all over the map, as we often do, different kinds of shows, from those that appeal to young teens all the way up to Latino legends as well. And people like Rickie Lee Jones also featured today. So from Billy Eilish to Luis Miguel to Rickie Lee Jones to some interesting shows at some of the venues around town that you can access easily, like at Town Center, which is free, to the Crossroads and all the other great venues. We'll take a look at that in our usual musical journey on the Arts and Lifestyles Wednesday with Tim Finn. He's from In Kansas City Magazine, and you can hear him Thursdays at 4 o'clock with John Hart on 90.9 The Bridge. And just to highlight the In Kansas City, that's where you can really get some heads up on some great shows and hear about some shows that maybe you missed and you were curious about or wish you maybe went to. Always fine reading there, and always fine listening and fine chatting with me right here. The fine chatting generally comes from him, but I enjoy it. It's fine by me, and we'll do it next, and we hope to do it finely straight ahead. Looking for a truly unique escape from your normal entertainment or corporate team-building regimen? Stay tuned for an exclusive offer only for Reasonably Irreverent listeners. I'm excited to tell you about an extraordinary destination, the Exit Room, located in the heart of beautiful downtown Lee Summit. The Exit Room is a distinctive entertainment option that offers a cool alternative to the normal couples night out, family get-togethers, and corporate team-building events. The Exit Room is a one-of-a-kind boutique escape room catering to special occasions and corporate team-building events, and is unmatched in the Kansas City metro. With 5 individually designed and varied escape room adventures, your party or employees can unplug from their electronic world, interact with one another, match wits, and ultimately escape the humdrum of the ordinary. The Exit Room adventures cross decades and centuries and create fascinating fun. I know the owners well. They are local folks, their staff is warm and friendly, their lobby is inviting and beautiful, and their adventures are award-winning. Check online. There are over 1,000 reviews, and note that they are a rare 5-star ranked business. Visit their website and Facebook page, and any of my listeners who books online at theexitroomkc.com using the promo code Clinkscale19 gets 10% off any ticket purchase. The Exit Room in Lee Summit. Unplug, interact, and escape.
For many people, a family law case will be one of the most difficult experiences in their life. The law firm of Kenneth McRae will help you through it. Personal and effective help from Ken in concert with you will develop a unique strategy for your unique case. As Ken always says, divorce can be civil law, not civil war. Licensed in Kansas? Visit McRaeLawOffice.com or call 913-972-4765.
We're here with Joe Spiker, the president of Easton Roofing. And Joe, you worked for other companies in the construction industry. What inspired you to start your own company in Easton Roofing?
Well, you know, Danny, when you are working for somebody else, you oftentimes don't get to see the project through from beginning to end, and you don't get the final control over the customer experience. And I wanted to build a place where people can come and get work done on their house and not have to worry about being treated the wrong way, and get a good customer service experience start to finish.
The company slogan is "Where Integrity Matters." Why is that so particularly important to you?
Well, for us, what that means is treating each other with respect at work, treating our clients with respect, and making the right choice, especially when no one's looking. So when you're presented all the time as a contractor with choices that have to be made, are you going to make more money on this if you cut a corner? And we just wanted to make a place and a slogan that said to our people and to whoever is our customer, we're not going to do that. We're going to make the right choice regardless of profit.
Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. with Tim Finn. Always a pleasure. Tim Finn from Kansas City Magazine. You can read his previews of upcoming shows and reviews of past shows at that fine magazine. Online content is great, and the physical magazine as well is stylish and lovely. And, of course, he can be heard Thursdays at 4 o'clock with John Hart on 90.9 The Bridge as well. And it's always a pleasure to have him along. And sort of a semi-recurring theme through the last couple of months on this particular segment has been Billy Eilish.
Right.
We're looking ahead to Billy Eilish. When you cast the net way ahead a little while ago, and then we talked about it coming up. So it seems like she's been lurking. Mm-hmm. And the show is at the Independent Center, moved from the Midland because of ticket sales. And in your review, you talk about the sort of mania surrounding the show, which I think it appears you thought every bit lived up to the hype.
I did. I went in curious, but also dubious, because having listened to her music pretty intently the 2 or 3 days before the show, I get the music. I like it. I admire it mostly because it's so lyrically oriented, and there's some interesting things going on musically. It's a hybrid of 2 or 3 genres, but I just wondered how it was going to live up to some of the reviews I read. And I get there,
and had the reviews been really good?
Yeah, and some of them were from these sort of alternative websites and blogs, so I don't really know the people who were writing them, but some of them were just gushing, and that may have been, an 18-year-old girl writing it,
right?
Which would make sense, but couldn't find anything really bad said about her. So I get there, and the line into the arena, I can't see the end of it. It's got to be a mile or more long, just going back through the parking lots. And I heard that there had been people lined up there the day before to get right up front on the GA.
Right.
And throughout the show, and I didn't see any of this, I guess girls were passing out because been drinking up water or eating enough, who knows. And I don't think it was really hot in there. And I'd been in there when it was more crowded, but I think just up front it was so packed and there was so much mania up there. She came out, and you couldn't really hear her throughout the first song, not because she wasn't singing. She doesn't have a super bellowy voice, but to sing along to the first song was like volcanic, and the crowd overwhelmed her. And it was like that pretty much the whole night. But what impressed me about her was her stage presence, her maturity, her humility. She's kind of funny. They did all kinds of stuff, visually. Production was really good. I thought it sounded good for that arena, because that can be really a tough room.
That is a tough acoustic room. I haven't been to a show there.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you built a Sprint Center, there's a little more in mind about live shows, and I don't think when they built this, I'm sure that they had shows in mind, but I've been in there when it's half full, and they have that plastic thing on the floor, and that can be hard.
Right.
The sound guys and the ears. But it was fine. I didn't notice it. I guess that's a good thing. I didn't think it was pristine, but I didn't think it was bad either. And she sang for like almost 80 minutes. And I think everyone in the place was absolutely satisfied. I was impressed. I was also impressed by this composition of the crowd, because there were a lot of just adults there by themselves. No kids in tow. And it wasn't like a Jonas Brothers or a boy band scene. There were plenty of teenagers there, and there was some screaming going on, but it felt more like an Ed Sheeran crowd or Taylor Swift crowd,
right?
Where there's, it's not little girls screaming. It's
right.
It's teenagers and adults. So yeah, she impressed me.
It'll be probably one thing when you're in this, have this type of fame, in addition to and things that are causing fainting and things of that.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see how this evolves. Always.
Yeah, I was on another radio show the Monday after the concert, and one of the hosts was saying, well, let's hope she doesn't go the way of Britney Spears and other teenagers who are so famous so fast, and then their lives fall apart. But her family is so much a part of her identity right now. Her parents travel with her.
Right.
She grew up homeschooled. She seems like a little mature beyond her years. At least she carries herself that way on stage and in interviews. So I think the thing to wonder about is how does she follow up this record, which she doesn't have to do anytime soon. But I imagine she's just going to keep following her muse and the muse of her brother, who's a big influence on her music. And I'm not worried about anything like that. I mean, there's no telling what can happen or what will happen. But she seems pretty stable and solid, and like she knows what she's doing, and she's not going to let anybody else tell her what to do. So we'll see.
Let's move on to a show that you didn't review due to some technical issues, but a female singer, a musician of another order, another generation, somebody who generally in her life, Rickie Lee Jones, has received really great reviews of no matter what type of music or approach she has embraced throughout her career. Somebody who, sort of a standard musical idea where somebody becomes pretty darn famous because of a couple of big songs. That doesn't continue, but they still are a really viable artist who continues to create great music.
And evolve, yeah.
Right.
She hasn't done well commercially since like her first two records. And she has evolved significantly since. She tries out all different kinds of music. She can be jazzy, she can be folk, or a combination of both. She's just so talented and so unique. Like, you know, it's her music. She wants to satisfy herself more than anything. Like, she's not going to try something commercial just to try to sell more records, and she's going to explore with people she wants to explore music with her own identity and her own ideas. And her new record is really good. It's hard to pinpoint what genre it is. It's just really...
She's done sort of straight jazz, hasn't she?
Oh yeah, and she's done I think she did a record of like standards, jazz vocals. And the show Sunday night was, she did.
Where was the show?
It was at Crossroads, KC,
in
the Mulch. And she had with her, one of the guys in her band was Mike Dillon, who's formerly from Kansas City and he has his own band. They opened the Mike Dillon Band. And if you look him up, he's like he's an eminent percussionist, vibraphonist and percussionist. And he played with, the guy from Primus, Les Claypool, was bands with him, with Stuart Copeland. He was in the project with him. So Mike added a lot to her sound. It was just him and a guitar player or a keyboard, and Rickie Lee on guitar and piano. And she did Chucky's in Love. She did Must Be Love. She did a cover of this America song, Lonely People.
Right.
Which was like, that's who covers America, but but that was nice. She did a real slow, dirgy cover of Bad Company's song, Bad Company.
Right. Which is quite a good song.
Mm-hmm. So it was a pretty all over the map kind of show. She seemed a little grouchy.
Was the crowd good?
Not really. It was okay. It was okay. And
so maybe could that have been part of it?
There might have been 500 people there, but in that place, it looks like
a little sparse. Yeah.
And
how much does that hold when it's full?
I've seen them put 2,200 people in there.
Right.
When you don't want to be there when it's like that. I think we'll go.
But 1,500 would be a crowd that would look good in there. So she was about a third of that.
I think so. Yeah. But and I don't know. She was joking along all night, but it just seemed like she came out
a tinge of disappointment.
Thought, where's everybody? Yeah.
Right.
But no, it was a thrill to see her because I'd never seen her, and I've been buying her records since the late 70s. So good show. See her if you can.
Just I like to take sidebars on this. You mentioned she covered Bad Company. As the years have gone on, I wasn't the biggest fan in the world. I kind of consider Bad Company now to be a underrated band in looking back. Would you agree with that sentiment or not?
I guess they didn't really have a prominent place in my music repertoire.
Right, not
up.
me really either. I'd like, you liked some of their big songs.
Sure.
I mean, they were so big, they were omnipresent. But when I look back and hear back to them, there seems to be maybe more quality than I remembered.
Well, and I've said this before, I think the bands that came out of Britain in the 60s and 70s, you had to be good musicians, good